Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Psy-co-mania. Today I'll be starting with introduction to psychology. So without further ado, let's get started. Let us have a look at some early definitions related to psychology. Earlier, psychology was a part of philosophy. So various ancient philosophers were interested actually in study of soul. So they also defined psychology as science of soul. But this definition did not work for too long and eventually got rejected due to some of the reasons, which are the soul was considered to be vague term. How it was a vague term? Since it had a very wide meaning, a very comprehensive meaning, so it was considered vague term, and it was heavily criticized later in the Middle Ages. Plus, there were great questions about the physical existence of soul, its weight, its volume. Hence, concluding that there was no convincing evidence or proof regarding its existence. Hence, it was metaphysical in nature. So, this definition of psychology being the science of soul eventually got rejected. Next definition was defining psychology as the science of mind. Now, psychology was also considered as a part of mental philosophy. So it looked appropriate to define it as science of mind at that time. But the science of mind concept actually did not include overt behaviors, the observable behavior of human beings, and also mind was unmeasurable in nature. That is, it could not be measured directly. So these few reasons also led to drop out of this definition too. The third definition we had was psychology as science of consciousness. Now, during the history of psychology, it was felt that the main purpose of psychology was to study the conscious experience of people. But consciousness only makes us conscious, or it considers the aspects that we are aware of in the present situation or things that are around us. But as described later by Freud, that there are levels of mind which are conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. So due to presence of unconscious, also the only restricted aspect towards consciousness made it an inappropriate term. Plus, this definition also gave a kind of philosophical flavor, a philosophical tinge. So eventually, this definition also got rejected. Next, psychology was defined as science of behavior, as said by J.B. Watson, the father of behaviorism, that men are built, not born. So Watson rejected mind as the subject of psychology. He rather insisted on the idea that psychology should study the behavior, the observable or potentially observable acts or activities of people as well as animal. So Watson said that there is no essential difference between behavior of human beings and animals, and we actually get to learn a lot from animals about our own behavior. So he emphasized that nothing is innate and everything and anything can be learned. Here we have some current definitions of psychology. They are as follows. Psychology is the science of human and animal behavior. It includes the application of this science to human problems, the scientific study of behavior and mental processes, the science of behavior and mental processes, the science of behavior and cognitive processes, the science that studies behavior and mental processes, scientific study of behavior and mind. So, in all these definitions, we can see that mental processes, cognitive processes, mind, these have additions and subtractions. But if something that is permanent here is, or we can say something that is regular in these definitions, is behavior. So psychology still got its behavior aspect in it. Since behavior is an inseparable part of psychology, let us take a look at what is behavior. According to psychologists, behavior is anything and everything that a human being or an animal is doing and that can be observed in some or the other way. We can say that behavior inculcates all the actions and responses of human beings or animals or organism that is measured. Either it is directly measurable or it is indirectly measurable. Plus, it is not only limited to the bodily movements. Rather, it has got all the mental and cognitive processes like emotions, thoughts, feelings, and various other internal processes, which are not observable directly but can be observed or can be measured indirect through people's vocal behavior and their way of reacting to different situations or problems. Let us take a look at characteristics of behavior. First characteristic is that behavior is influenced by a number of factors. Now, there are various factors that influence an individual's behavior, such as biological, cultural, environmental, social, even past experiences, the motivations, emotional, and cognitive factors all impact an individual's behavior. Second is behavior varies in complexity. By complexity we mean the type of behavior that we are performing, whether it's less complex, whether it's simple, it's more complex, or it's highly complex. For example, picking up a notebook, it's a very simple kind of behavior. A little complex can be being able to play an instrument. A more complex can be being able to repair a motorcycle, and even highly complex can be being able to fly a fighter plane. So you see there are various levels of complexities in behavior. Third is the individual factors that influence behavior. These individual factors have physiological aspects to them, for example the biological needs, for example to quench thirst or hunger, and there are psychological influences also, like the ideas or opinions or attitudes of an individual. Then we have environmental factors, which include our physical surroundings, the family we are a part of, friends, society at large, and also the culture and social background. Then there are individual differences that play a major role in behavior. Like behavior varies from person to person, even from one group of people to the other group of people. People do differ in their physiological conditions, in their physiological makeup, their bodily conditions, in their abilities. So therefore it is quite genuine, it's quite natural that if there is a bunch of 20 people and we put them in some kind of a situation, it is possible that not all the 20 of them are going to act in the similar way. There can be a range of behaviors that can be observed. Then we have similarities. Behavior also shows similarities. It is not necessary that everybody will behave in different way in different situations or in the similar situation. For example, if something comes and falls into our eyes, then anybody would want to remove that particle from their eyes. It would be natural that blinking and tearing would start up in the eyes. So there is some sort of similarity on also in behavior. Then we have that behavior is goal directed, it's purposeful in nature. Yes, the action an individual performs is goal directive, it is directed towards some goal, attaining of some goal. For example, um, even when we want to drink water, it's because we are feeling thirsty, so our goal there is to quench our thirst. if you're feeling cold, we want to switch off the fan. So here our goal is to switch off the fan, and our behavior is to switch the fan off. So we can say that behavior is goal directed in nature. Next is behavior is changeable to a large extent, such that it has been already mentioned earlier that there are various factors which influence behavior. So if these factors are modified, behavior can also be modified. This factor of changeability is the one that lets the child become an adult, a good man become a bad man, or a bad man become a good man. Also, it helps in adapting, in adjusting to a new surrounding. Next is behavior shows stability. The characteristic of stability is also present in behavior. It is not necessary that behavior is constantly or continuously changing with every change in the environment. There is some certain stability also present in behavior. For example, we can view this characteristic in the old grannies of our house. Yes, the old grandmothers, the grandmothers who still would want to stick to older ideas, older thoughts, older way of living, despite being a part of ultra modern society. Next is behavior is integrated. Though it is influenced by a great number of factors and it has got various purposes, but every human being has physiological, psychological, social, personal purpose. Okay, they are subjected to different kinds of experiences, different kinds of learning, but in spite of all these, behavior has an order, it has a hierarchy of purpose. Each individual behaves as a total person in totality, and this process of his or her organization of different purposes, experiences, or the factors that influence him, they integrate, they are present in an integrated manner. So they are, we can say, integration of behavior. That's all for today, guys. I'll be covering up next topic in my upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. If you liked my video, please hit a like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the bell icon so that you get all the notifications of my latest updates. Thank you. Bye bye.